Hey, Jeremy, thanks for taking some time here. Appreciate it. Um, Obviously, the news is out about a quarterback change here going to Tyrod. I'm just curious to get your thoughts on that.
Um, yeah, not going to go into too much detail. Coach talked to us as a team today and told us how we're going to get ready to go play this weekend. So just leave all questions for that towards him.
Jeremy, why do you think it's been so tough for you know Justin better than anybody? Why do you think it's been so tough for him to get things going with this offense?
Yeah, like you said, that's my guy. Not really sure the exact things. Just I know how much he cares about us, how much he puts on the line every day. So it's things to be a part of the. Um, I take it personal. All the hate, all the talking that goes towards him. I take it personal because I'm one of the guys that takes the field with him, and wish we could do a better job to help him out. But he's just a true professional, like I say every day. Not going to change how I feel about him, and just I'm sure he'll be ready to go when his time's coming.
At 2-8, what are the goals of this team going forward? Because right now, I mean, the playoffs probably aren't going to happen. So at 2-8, what are you looking for the rest of the season?
For me personally, I think that it's a good time it's a good culture tester. See who packs it in, see who sticks through it. I don't think any of the people in this locker room are just going to give up. Just show up to work every day with the mindset of getting better, growing as a team, and growing towards the culture that we want to build. So every opportunity you get to step on that field is something you can't take lightly. We're in a position that millions and millions of people dream of being in. So taking it with that mindset of not disrespecting the game, not disrespecting your teammates, and showing up to work every day to get better yourself and give them the reason to keep you around.
Jeremy, what was Aaron's message today when you guys got back?
Just that there's things that we need to keep working on. Like I said, we're trying to build something a certain way, and we need to stick on that path. Not waver from it, from anything that's negative, and continue to work towards that common goal that we have, and continue to build that brand that we want to play, and we want to keep instilling in this locker room, and work to win games a certain way. So that's our message. That's our goal as we get ready for this weekend, and we're gonna keep working towards that.
Jeremy, with regard to Tyrod, what are the things that you've learned about him since he got here and whatnot, and what he does bring to the table when he's in the game?
I mean, Tyrod's like I said, a seasoned professional. You know what you're gonna get from him. He's a guy who's played a lot of football, so someone you can always lean on whether he's playing or not for advice. You come on the sideline, ask him a question about what he saw or what he thinks, and a guy with a lot of experience but a lot of ability. So he's been that way since I've known him. First one in the building, last one out. So a true pro to lean on when things get tough.
Jeremy, did Aaron address what happened with Chris Boyd, and what was your reaction to what happened?
Yeah, it's tough news to hear. One of our guys, and we're all thinking of him and wishing him well for him and his family. So other than that, we're going to keep everything in house about what's going on, and thinking of him and his family.
Is that as a teammate of his and someone who obviously cares about him, you wake up Sunday morning and you hear something like that? How tough is that to process? When you hear your teammates in a situation like that,
Yeah, I mean, it's devastating news. Obviously, super grateful that it wasn't life changing, and for his family especially. He's just had a child, and you think about those people in his life and the locker room in general. So it's a time for us to come together, and like I said, prayers for him and his family, and hopefully that everything will end up being all right.
Jeremy, how did you find out? Because a lot of us kind of heard as the news was coming out. Did you, like a teammate, I can't imagine how it would be for you guys as teammates of him to find that out.
I mean, we found out, we weren't in the building at all, so everybody kind of found out their own way. And, just like I said, not too much detail about it, but, we probably found out the same way everybody else did.
Hey, Harrison, thank you for doing this. Appreciate it. So obviously it's been a lot of news happening around the Jets over the last 24 hours or so. I know you were teammates with Chris in Minnesota for a year. We saw your post yesterday. I'm just wondering if you've been able to reach him or what the latest and just how you guys are processing that emotionally.
Yeah, I know some players who've communicated with him. I personally have not. I just know there's been a lot of answered prayers. It's a blessing to know that he's in stable condition, surrounded by his family, with just a lot of support around him. Definitely. From where the news originally was reported, there's a lot of panic and a lot of emotion that goes into that. Not to lighten the situation, but I think people are, we're a little more grateful knowing that he's in stable condition now. So I'll say something about KB though, just such an energetic, such a positive person. In that year in 22, I think we spent together. He was someone, as I was a new person, who welcomed me with open arms because he's just so positive, wanting to get to know everybody, playing games, joking all the time. And even my time here with him, he's still got that upbeat positivity even while being on IR. And, I can't wait to see his smiling face again.
What's that like? I mean, this just it may sound trite for the question, but you wake up on Sunday morning on your bye weekend, and how do you find out something like that? And what's the immediate thought there on something like that?
I almost a small dose of PTSD because I lost a teammate last summer, Kyrie Jackson in Minnesota, and so your original thoughts go to how terrible of a situation that ended up being, and the family involved, and KB welcomed a baby to the world not too long ago, and so your thoughts kind of just go there. So I think I just opened up my X and just kind of let my thoughts pour out. I was praying for him a lot through the day, and figured if there's a few more thousand people that could read that, then they're sending those prayers up too.
I know you can't speak for everyone in the locker room, but how is everyone doing that, on the team right now?
Yeah, from just complete bird's eye view kind of a thing. Yeah, we've done a really good job of emphasizing a standard and that things haven't been good enough, but also that there's still growth. And in order to accomplish things we want to accomplish, you have to attack work with a positive mindset, and you have to have energy, and you have to do this thing with a smile on your face. So I know it's almost speaking two different languages, but energy is solid. Guys are moving around, excited with the opportunities to improve. There's so much excitement in the fact that you can get better. I mean, imagine if I thought that this was my ceiling as a player. Well, then what am I working towards? I feel like there's always more that I can do. I can always make our defense better. And so I think that's the kind of optimism and grit that we're searching for and have this week.
Hey, Harrison, the news came out today about AG going with Tyrod. I'm just curious what you've learned about him since camp and throughout the season, and what you think this potentially could do for you guys. What he brings to the table.
Well, I mean, I can just speak on who Tyrod is as a player. I even had a lot of overlap with him, not playing together, but through the Buffalo Bills connection. When I was in Buffalo, he had just left, and it was great to hear staff how positively they talked about him. Some of our skill position and offensive line talking about how well he was able to gel guys and you need to have good camaraderie in your room offensively if you want to do real well. So I think he's great at that. I know I'm not near as old as Tyrod, sorry brother, but I'm one of the older guys on the team, and so we have the old man coffee crew that comes into the training room to get ready for practice every day, and so he and I have been able to catch up, and I think it's just been super impressive his mindset this entire season. Quarterbacks are a little different. They have to take the approach every week that they're going to go play 60 snaps to go win the football game and maybe never play a single snap. And, with the long career he's had, there's no way he'd been able to still be doing this at a high level if he didn't take that approach every day through his, 15 years, I think it is, or something. So, I mean, I feel comfortable, would definitely feel comfortable with him going out there and leading our team.
On the other end of it, just real quick, what do you say to Justin in a situation like this?
I haven't even really been, we just came in, had a very short team meeting today, and then we've been pretty split. I've been spending a lot of time with the defense going over the last game plan. So I know AG is going to talk to you guys, I think, later this week about his messaging, and I'll kind of let him kind of address that. But regardless, all season long, I've been able to, catch up with him quite a bit through the ups and downs of the season, and the 500-yard game, remaining humble, and maybe some places that we fell short, still coming to work and having that same passion. So I know that we got a lot of great pieces in our quarterback room, and I really love those guys.
Person, AG
So
said,
what have you thought of the way AG has just kind of handled this season, the ups and downs that you guys have had? You've been around for a while, had some different head coaches. What have your impressions been of him?
The most impressive thing is his consistency. I think his messaging and the way he is as a person, whether we win, we lose, we have a good performance, we have a bad performance, we don't get the result we deserve, or we get the result we deserve. He's been super consistent, and I think I said this the first couple weeks I was here, middle of the road, and now here. He deserves to win, and I believe he will.
Harrison, AG said that energy and urgency were there against the Patriots. The execution wasn't where it needed to be. Where do you want the defense to execute better moving forward, starting in Baltimore?
Yeah, I think what's most frustrating is that if we go through something, a short week makes things a little more challenging. You're never looking for excuses, but a short week can make things more challenging. What can be frustrating as a veteran player or somebody who's been around a little bit, some things might come easier to me than other players. But at the same time, if we install something and we go to the walkthrough and you do it, you go to a practice and you do it, when you get to the game rep, you got to be able to do it as well, with firing bullets and a lot of loud noises and a lot of adrenaline. And so, I think those are things when you talk about execution, that's just fundamentals. It's fundamentals in technique. And we need to communicate better. We need to just lean into the simple things. And I think that's what we're going to work on a lot this week, and we have today with the bonus day.
What did you think about the run defense overall? And also, how unique is this challenge coming up this week against Baltimore with Lamar and Henry, of course, in that backfield?
Yeah, I think, go back to last week. Just knowing these guys, I got to go against them in training camp in a joint practice when I was still with the Vikings. And it was very clear that they wanted to be a team that ran the football and were physical and were going to beat you up and get in big personnel and jumbo and two back, and they were going to run the football. And I know that, Drake threw a bunch of passes against us as well, but they did try to run the football. And I think, we did do a pretty good job with some gap integrity and guys making some big hits that maybe discouraged that as much. Fast forwarding to this week, I've played, both of these guys a handful of times, and they're top in the NFL. I mean, the reason one's MVP, there's a reason one gets the rushing record every other year, and they are truly like a 1-2 punch, a 1-1 punch, really. So we'll, today was a little bit about breaking down what we, had done and watching some of that, just a very small preview. I have watched 2 of their games so far, but I'll wait to get kind of the full breakdown and what our game plan is going to be. But you have to have a plan for these two.